Hey guys, thank you for joining us today. We are joined once again by the incredibly wonderful, fabulous Effy. How are you doing?
Look at me. I'm vibrating today. I'm in my Juicy Couture sweatshirt. It's Big Gay Brunch Week. I'm going to Florida at some point this week. You know, I have this real problem though, and I don't know if it's the energies of the moon, where like I sometimes everything happens at once with me. So like this week, not only am I trying to get down to Florida for all these WrestleMania weekend celebrations, I'm also trying to ship out all of these shirt orders that I had done for the Wrestling is Gay stuff, like at the same time. And I'm like imagining me, it's gonna be like Wednesday night at midnight, and I'm like stuffing orders together. Like, if I leave now, I can make it for the party.
Hey, let's talk about that real quick. The Wrestling is Gay stuff was a huge success by the looks of it.
Oh, it's a massive success, and it's staying. And so like I have parts of drop 3 like already here, and it's something that like I figured out, okay, maybe people are fans of generally gay wrestling, but not always 100% fans of me. And I said, well, let's grab it by the horns. And luckily through this, we've done 2 drops so far, which has been 2 different shirts. And then we just did the 4 language shirts that say wrestling is gay. I love it. And so far we've been able to raise, I believe, $3,000 for charity. Wow. Just because of the shirts, the enamel pins, the tie-dyes, all that stuff. So there's been a lot of money, and it's gone in locally to places like Lost and Found Youth in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It's gone into places. We just made a big donation to the Asian American Women's Empowerment Fund here in Atlanta that helps represent Asian American and Pacific Islander women here. And knowing what we dealt with in Atlanta, it's nice that, you know, we run the kind of company with Wrestling is Gay now where we can move very quickly towards things that need attention right then. So, you know, it's okay, we've done a great donation to Lost and Found Youth. We continue to support them. We will continue to support them. But when these opportunities come up, you know, you need to be able to move in the direction of what people need and where the most help is needed at the time. So yeah, I'm going to keep putting out gay wrestling clothes, and then trying to fund as many charities as possible. It's been hectic, but it's been really exciting. It's a lot more orders than I'm used to.
I was really tempted to get one of the tie-dye ones. I mean, amazing. I don't know if I could pull tie-dye off. I don't know. I'm a redhead. Can I pull tie-dye off?
Everybody says they can't pull tie-dye off, but like tie-dye sort of goes with everything because it goes with nothing. There's no place where you're like, oh, what will match this bumbling weird mess of dye colors? Nothing. And so once you've accepted that like nothing goes with it, everything goes with it, because it's going to look tacky a little bit.
I like that logic.
Yeah, it's why the hippies wore it. They were like, look at us. We don't need to look good.
Well, then I'll be purchasing a tie-dye t-shirt then. I mean, I'm sold.
We have a new tie-dye coming out that's a little more, I call it the bisexual tie-dye. And it's there's a little more purple float in there. It feels sexy. So we're keeping it going. But I'm very ADD on ideas. So I can only put stuff up for 2 weeks, and then it's gone. And people are like, you know, they'll get their packages and everybody sees the stuff and they're like, oh, I want that too. And I'm like, it's gone, for no other reason than like, I'm just over it. Like, I've moved forward.
Effy, can I just get your opinion on a piece of clothing that I've got, which I always get a lot of abuse for wearing these. I wore these to watch CM Punk, to meet CM Punk, and I think they're amazing. But what do you reckon?
What's the length on these?
They're only tiny. They're like...
Oh, yeah. No, see, I really like these. I don't know. You've gotten some hate on these?
Yeah, man.
Are they jelly of the legs? I was showing that leg.
You know, again, the guys I was with were saying, oh, I can't believe you're wearing them to meet CM Punk. And I was like, why wouldn't...
Wait a minute. I was with you. I never said that.
Yes, you did. You and
they're like Muay Thai shorts a little bit. I'll tell you what, that's like... You know, I always see Dan Garcia wrestling in the trunks, but then for one of those ICW shows, he was wrestling in those Muay Thai shorts. And there's something about a dude in patterns, like sparkly patterned silk shorts that are too short, just wailing on people. That's like way more badass than doing it in trunks. Like the trunks, you're like, oh yeah, of course he's throwing a kick. He's a wrestler boy. But when they're out there in those like shimmer shorts, I'm like, what is happening? This is a fashion moment. So I feel like you're going down that same path.
That's it. Yeah. And like you said, nothing goes with tie-dye. Nothing goes with them. I found out the hard way. But yeah, I like that logic. Tie-dye is for everybody because nothing goes with tie-dye. I like
that. Yes. I'm sold on that. I'm buying a tie-dye t-shirt from Effy. I'm sold on that. Yeah, don't wear them shorts, Colin. But Effy, I mean, we have to talk. I mean, big gay brunch is coming up.
Oh, very quickly.
Really excited. I mean, we'll start. I mean, we might as well start as well because we spoke to Pollo last week. I mean, the perfect host.
The perfect host. And that's one of the things I was like Pollo del Mar is like, you know, they say 2 birds with 1 stone. She's like 19 birds with 1 stone, because at the start of my show, I had to be out the last time. I had to congratulate the winners after this tag match. I had to go out for myself. I had to go out and cut a speech to the end. I had to do all of this. And I'm going, I can't do all of this. And this year, like, my WrestleMania schedule is already lighter. But having her be able to just do the show host and get people fired up and not have to do that while getting my match ready and getting things going is incredible. But also, she's just like the most incredible drag performer, and also has experience in wrestling, has managed people in wrestling, has been a part of storylines in wrestling, is the first lady of Southern California, Northern California. I forget the exact thing she says. But she put me in drag and made me beautiful, which is a task, even though she commented that she was putting the makeup on my nose, and because this thing is so crooked, and I was like, what do you think? I've been attacked. My nose has been broken many times, but she'll be there to bring that energy, to keep that gay spark. And like, it's an immediacy. When you see a drag queen hosting something, you go, this must be a gay event. We're cutting out the middleman. People aren't going to be like, what show's going on? Clearly it's a gay show. We have a 7-foot drag queen out here hosting the event.
Yeah, she and what blew my mind, we did a bit of research. Well, I mean, not only that, but she's performed with people like Britney Spears and Cyndi Lauper and Katy Perry, and it was like, this is insane, absolutely incredible.
Her history within the business of entertainment is so impressive, and I think it's one of those things where, like, you just know, okay, based on all these experiences, based on all these places you've been, you're going to elevate my show. You know how these shows run, and even if the show goes off the rails, a talent like Pollo del Mar can keep things right in the zone and can make sure that we bring it back together, no matter how wild it gets. And sometimes it gets a little wild.
I think she's the absolutely the most perfect guest host you could have got. And after speaking with her, she's so knowledgeable on all wrestling. Like, I didn't know if she would just be knowledgeable on the current products, but she was talking about like matches that Ric Flair had in the 70s. And, you know,
yes, has probably more knowledge than most of the wrestlers, you know, out there. And it's also still like, do you want to go to this AEW show with me? Do you want to go do this with me? Do you want to go watch these shows? And I'm like, holy moly, you're watching more wrestling than me, I believe. But it's, I mean, that's the beauty of wrestling fans, is like, they come from all over the place. And you know what, for some strange reason, we're all nerds for this stuff. And instead of thinking about it too hard, we just nerd out together, you know?
Isn't that the cool thing about wrestling though? Like, I think we mentioned it with Pollo. Doesn't really matter your background or whatever your preferences in life are. Wrestling is what brings us together. We've all got that one thing in common. No matter how different you are to somebody, you've got wrestling in common with that person. And that's the beauty of pro wrestling.
Yeah, and hopefully we bring some beauty to pro wrestling. But like, honestly, in putting this card together, this show could be kind of brutal, guys. It's, as I read over it, it's looking a little brutal. I mean, there's not really, everybody's like, oh, the gay wrestler, like, what are the gay wrestlers going to be up to, doing some gay stuff? Yeah, of course. But also, like, MV Young versus JD Drake is, like, MV Young came to me and was like, oh, can I fight this big behemoth Southern Hoss boy on your show? And I was like, are you sure? Like, we can do all sorts of other things. You can do whatever. And he says, yeah, I want to get my ass beat by JD Drake. And luckily, you know, JD is on a run with AEW right now, doing a lot of stuff on Dark. And you know, to have him on the show, we've known each other for years. It goes back to those old friendships and those old trusts in wrestling of, like, you never know when somebody's going to be as hot as they're going to be, but you hope that when they are really hot and when there's a lot of momentum behind you, that they remember you. And JD Drake was happy to hop on the show, was excited for the match. And I think that's going to be, I mean, just brutal hands. I have a freaking dog collar match, well, pup collar match. Now, I did not ask AJ Gray's permission to call this a pup collar match, nor do I think he's going to acknowledge at all that it's a pup collar match. But Billy Dixon asked for it, and that's like, there's sort of this trending theme of, like, if you come to Effy with a pitch and you come with a plan, I'm happy to jump on board. And his plan was, let me challenge AJ Gray in a dog collar match. And I was like, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I was like, aren't you doing commentary on his show? And he was like, yeah. I was like, is this like a blood feud? And he's like, not really. And I was like, well, then what are you doing? And he's like, I just have to see if I can survive in there with the top dog chained to him and just in the most violent match of all time. And I think this ghost of Dusty Rhodes has like really snuck into the back of his head. And I hope that he survives it. But like, God bless if you want to go out on top, maybe it's Tampa.
I respect that.
Hell yeah.
I respect
Hell
that.
yeah. Now, I've got to ask, I mean, one of the matches as well that I'm looking forward to, Edith Surreal and Devon Monroe. I spoke to Edith last week, and one of the most wonderful people I've ever spoken to in my life. She spoke very highly of you as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on that match and Edith as well?
So for me, seeing this growth from being still life with apricots and pears to growing to finding a more feminine nature in that, you would imagine when someone finds an even more feminine version of themselves and comes out to you as Edith Surreal and brings this new character in, that it would have almost a more polite feel, or we have a feeling that, you know, ladies should be a certain way. But I know after having a match with her that this is the most aggressive I've ever seen her. And not only for Effy's Big Gay Brunch weekend, she also has an opportunity within GCW's Acid Cup. The first round match of that is Edith Surreal versus Jordan Oliver, who I know you guys know just completed a 2-hour Ironman match against Tony Deppen, is Mr. Ironman. And I've spoken to him about it, and he said, I requested the match. What you're seeing is that with people like Devon, with people like Edith Surreal, they are able to continue to grow as themselves. And because of that, personal narrative and that uniqueness that all of these new people are bringing in and being allowed to foster and sort of grow with, and not just have to sit there and be, we need you to be this today. And it's us saying, we want you to be yourself because it's incredible. Seeing that growth and seeing how it has reached across the regular wrestling world, and seeing that, you know, what regular wrestling fans would say, oh, well, you know, it's a workhorse like Jordan Oliver, knowing that Jordan Oliver wants that match with Edith Surreal and sees that same thing that I see and sees the same thing our fans see, which is what a unique, incredible performer, someone who has all the skill in the world, someone who has all the training in the world, and is now able to go out there and not be anyone else's presentation and not be anyone else's toy, and just say, this is who I am. And I think she's going to have an incredible breakout weekend for this. And, you know, not to discount Devon Monroe. And I will say about Devon Monroe, what I've learned is not only is Devon such a beautiful gem of this like weird mid-Northwest scene, that's sort of that Milwaukee and the forgotten Minnesotas and Michigans in that area. There are a lot of people that are popping up within that realm that Devon has really, you know, put a lot of energy behind. And seeing guys like frontman Jaw step up, who is debuting, is in our Boy Butter Slippery Lube Scramble, you know, has come out openly as pansexual over the last year. Seeing this sort of growth within scenes and seeing people put each other on instead of, oh, well, I don't want them to get opportunities. It's like, it's a whole new world for indie wrestling, because we're cheering for our coworkers. We're hoping our coworkers get bigger opportunities, because when the proof is in the pudding, and this puts the responsibility back on me all the time, when the proof is in the pudding that if you're putting something good out there and showing out and being on that level, we want to continue to give you more spots and more opportunities to do that. It's not one of those things where historically in wrestling, oh, we'll come and help set the ring up, and oh, we'll take a look and do this, and maybe one day you'll get an opportunity, and maybe one day you'll get paid, but you better take the ring down. It's more of, let's honor people for their entertainment ability and skill. And that's not to say they're not a big help backstage and a big help setting the show up and doing whatever's necessary, but being able to deliver on a promise gives people more of an opportunity to say, I want to work for those people and give them my all, because I know they have respect for that. So I don't want to sound too big brain here, but it is like, as someone who is getting older in wrestling, as someone who's been here a little while, and I haven't been here as long as some people, but I want to be able, with my position now, to put on these matches and make these dreams happen. And I will say, the big question that I haven't brought up about Devon Monroe and Edith Surreal is this. At Big Gay Block, Devon Monroe and Dark Sheik had about the best match I've ever seen on that whole 24-hour block. Dark Sheik and Edith Surreal had about the best match I've ever seen on Effy's Big Gay Brunch 1. So both of them are coming out of losses to Dark Sheik that have both been called these big match of the year candidates. And I don't want to put pressure on anyone, but I think this is their moment to say, it wasn't just Dark Sheik out there. It wasn't just Dark Sheik being on top. And I know it's incredible to see someone like Dark Sheik jump out of the shadows of this and have this comfortable career with Hood Slam, and for me to say, hey, you gave me an opportunity, I need you to come out, and the world has been wide open to it. They've got a chance to show out without Dark Sheik in their corner, but Dark Sheik obviously is still pretty busy on the show.
Well, I might as well bring it up. Yeah, I mean, Dark Sheik, AC Mac. Dark Sheik, I'll be honest, the first time I really saw Dark Sheik was at Fight Forever. And I was so impressed. I mean, what we're going to expect with AC Mac and Dark Sheik?
I think with the Dark Sheik story, it's always been fascinating to me because Hood Slam has always run under the radar. And a lot of times in wrestling, you see certain promotions that they will suck up to the bigger guys or suck up to different places or suck up to try to get the next thing over. And Hood Slam has always historically said, fuck you, fuck what you have ideas of. We're going to sell out the Oakland Theater every Friday night. We're going to have 4 different shows. We're going to have cosplay wrestling, women's wrestling, weird wrestling, hardcore wrestling. You're going to come smoke weed. We don't give a fuck about you. And out of that prospect, you know, characters like Shotzi Blackheart got their start. And since the beginning, you know, the Stoner Brothers and Dark Sheik have worked together, and Hood Slam has evolved with Dark Sheik. And Dark Sheik now, you see her sort of expanding out into the world. And I think she always knew, I'm good, but I don't have to be good for anyone else. But I think she's finding the joy in being good for other people now. And it's really incredible because she's continued to just like not only be the best performer, but continue to put people on and put them at her level and show that, like, you guys might have all the pedigree and the WWE might be knocking on your door, but I know how to wrestle professionally. And that's why I put this with AC Mac. And this was the first match I announced. And it was the first match I came up with because I went up to Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. They were running a show during COVID. And I'm sitting here and I'm staring at AC Mac. And I've known Mac forever. I think he's an incredible wrestler. We wrestled each other one time in South Florida. I don't even know if there's video, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him and I go, he might be the best goddamn LGBTQ pro wrestler in the world. I'm just watching him. He might be. And then I got home and I go, wait, isn't it supposed to, I think it might be Dark Sheik. And I was like, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, let him duke it out. Let's see. Let's see who's the fucking best. I think Mac's the best. I think Shark's the best. Sheik, Dark Shark. Dark Shark would be the best character. I think Sheik's the best. I think Mac's the best. And so this is like me sort of like, because I think people have sort of been like, oh, if he's running a show, it's going to be goofy as shit. And this is sort of me being like, y'all go give Dave Meltzer a kiss and tell him he's not ready for this shit, because LGBTQ wrestlers deliver on any level, including, like, you want some work rate, some action, and some character explosion and some craziness, I'll give it all to you.
Yeah, that's what this show is. That's what the first one was at the Collective. It was unlike anything we'd ever seen. There was a little bit of everything thrown in. It was like a melting pot of all these different styles, personalities, characters, everything. And is that what we're going to see more of in this second show? Because, or can we expect it to be even more like crazy than the first one?
I think there's sort of a release of energy here. And now, granted, I want to say you got to wear a mask. It is still social distance. It is still very limited, you know, within the actual building. But even if you're watching the stream, there's something about me that, like, some people have said as a negative, which is like I'm always kind of a little too punk, and not like punk like, oh, like we're punk like I'll fucking show you, like I'll fucking show you. Yeah. And that energy is sort of still there, but there's also the energy of like, we're validated. Like, I'm validated in my own head, and I'm not worried about if anyone else is going to like the show. I know the shows are good. Every time people come to me, and people you don't expect, they come and they go, you had the best show, or you had the best segment. And I go, we know what they're going to do out there. And it's not we as in me, because, like, I know my fucking face is slapped all over, and I know I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people here, but it's we as in our community, and we now get to look out and go, now we got a little clout. They all fucking want us. Let's show them that they want us even more. There's a looseness to it. And I often refer to, like, when you lose your mind in wrestling, because you never really do anything very good until you lose your fucking mind in wrestling, which is you stop thinking about what are they going to think of the trials. You stop thinking about, oh, what are they going to do here? That's when you get signed, is when you stop looking at what they're looking for. You just go, I don't give a fuck, because that's when your spirit is the most free. Yeah. There is a lot of free spirited energy coming 100 for this.
I one of the guys I want to talk about as well, obviously, is Paro's Twink Gauntlet.
Oh yeah.
Paro's someone that I've really noticed this last year or so, and I've followed his story because obviously he's very open about his struggles with coming out and how he is now. And I think the guy's incredible. I said this a while back and I tweeted at him. I think he's a future world champion anywhere he goes. So I mean, what's your thoughts on Paro? I think the guy's incredible.
You know, Paro's in a position that is a difficult. I don't want to say it's a difficult position. It is a difficult position though, because I look at where Pero is, and right now he just taped with the NWA. He's been over to All Japan Wrestling. He has wrestled for Evolve. He has wrestled, and countless other places, I'm sure. And then I have him booked in these gay shows to just decimate, smaller competitors who we have determined as twinks.
Sorry. How big is he? Because he looks huge.
He's gigantic. He's like a shoot 6'4", but it's the height is not it. It's like he's as wide as a door.
Yeah.
And like physically is just so large that like he'll shadow over you and just like touch your shoulders and you're like, Pero? Very large. But also Pero's a guy who understands professional wrestling. And when you're in the position of making pro wrestling shows, that's either very beneficial to you, or it can be a little bit tough for you, because when the guy in the ring that you're trying to tell what to do has a better idea than you probably should listen to him, but you're giving up some of your power there. And so I like to give Pero these moments where I'm like, hey, you put this together and show me what your version of this looks like, and show me what your version of this is the most entertaining. And I've always been impressed with the results. And I think No Peace is taking some of that risk, and other places are taking some of that risk, but I want to see sort of an unhinged Pero that isn't given direction by anyone else. I sort of want to see what he would do on his own in an MLW or in an NWA or wherever he may end up, because I think that there's not only a lack of these bigger guys who can work in the ring and who can really make things look devastating and work with younger competitors and make their stuff look good too, but who also understand the timing in between things and the breaths and the pacing to make these things more memorable, to make these things really stick to you. So I mean, like, I continue to see big things for Pero, and it's the great thing about pro wrestling is, me and Pero we're getting up there in our age, but the best pro wrestling really happens when you're about 42, if we're going to be completely honest with it, which is why that's sort of the meaning of life, going back to Hitchhiker's Guide. But I think it's fine wine, and I think we are yet to see the best stuff out of Pero. And look, Odinson is an ally, and honestly, Pero was like, you got to book Odinson too. And I've known Odinson since 2014, since I literally started in wrestling. I've known him forever. He's always been jacked. And so I said, all right, well, then if we're doing that, then we're doing twink tag teams, and you can hunt them down and try your best. But I'm just going to be throwing twink tag teams at him. I think the difference you'll see this time is these are some more up and coming tag team names that we're putting him out there against. I don't think Pero should underestimate any of them at any point. You have the New South Tag Team Champions, Kenzie Page and Dylan McQueen coming in there. Dylan's been training with Cody Rhodes, has trained with Tom Pritchard, has trained with Mayor Kane, who's a fucking idiot, and I'll say that here legally. There are a lot of teams in there that I think are going to surprise people. I still have more teams to announce, but it's I think it's going to be more of a fight than people expect. There was a lot of decimation the last time. I don't know if Pero walks out of this one as easily.
That's what I was going to say. Can you see any of these twink tag teams, which is actually quite hard to say now, I've tried. These twink tag teams, can you see any of them stopping the end? Because to me, it just seems like it's not going to happen. Like, you could throw 5 twink tag teams and it's still not going to happen.
Yeah, it might take 7 or 8 twink. I don't know how many twink tag teams we're going to have to throw at them. Now you're making me nervous, because I thought I had a really good plan here, and now it's like, yeah, those dudes are big. We might not be able to crush them, honestly.
Do you have a lot of applications for the tag teams?
Way too many applications. Like, I'll tell you all this. When I first opened the idea of the Big Gay Brunch, I opened an email, and it was like, let me know if I should book you, right? Oh boy. It was like Dear Abby. Like, it was like everyone's emotional. Like, I've been thinking about, like dick sometime. And it was too much. And I said, I can't do this anymore. So now, like, when I'm booking, it's like, I can't look for applications anymore. I have to do my own scouting. And that's not a lazy take. I literally do scout. And like, even looking at my Twitch stream, okay, I'm watching about 4 hours of wrestling Monday, about 3 hours of wrestling Wednesday, 7 hours. Then I'm wrestling every weekend. I'm watching so much wrestling. I'm paying attention. I've got teams from all over the country coming in, and I've looked at who's been working, looked at who's been showing up, looked at who's been, needing that big chance, and trying to pick from that. Because if I just read the sad emails, I'll book everybody, and that's just not a show people really want to see.
I love that. I love that you've become a professional twink scouter in pro wrestling.
Somebody said, they said, look who just showed up, the gay godfather. What are they gonna, you gonna make them all kiss your hand? I was like, God damn it, I'm just trying to do my match, get out of here. He's like, everybody's walking up to you and wanting to introduce themselves. I was like, well, they should introduce themselves, but it's not a requirement or an obligation. I'm just a person, I'm just a dude. I was the one with the silliest picture that they could put on the poster. That's really why we're doing Wrestling is Gay, so I can take my face off all this shit, so nobody will know I'm actually the booker.
Well, I mean, I've got to ask, I mean, as well, you're on the card yourself, Ace Perry. Explain to me a soul on a pole match.
Here's the deal, boys. This is real, all right? In May of 2016, I made a blood oath with a demon known as Seatree. Seatree is a demon that appears occasionally as a handsome man, most likely as a spiritual lion, who can control the lust between people. Typically, it's not a lust towards him. Sometimes it can be, but a lot of times it's an inspiration of lust amongst others. With that, I have some dark energy and some dark powers. I'm going to leave it at that. Ace Perry wanted to fight me. I think Ace Perry's a nice boy. I think he's tried really hard. I think he's a big, wrestling spirit. But I knew that mentally he couldn't get to the next level unless he got rid of that thing in his head that was telling him to be a good boy and telling him to not take the blood money and not take the bad contracts and not put up with the scandals and not take direction from idiots. I mean, you look at the current landscape, you've got a lot of mid-carders who are agenting matches. Well, if the best they can do is mid-card, then you're going to still be mid-card by the end of it. But that's a bigger conversation. But in order for you to take these things to your face and not be completely devastated and crushed by them, you can't have a soul. So I said, look, Ace, you want to fight me? We'll fight. He said, if I win, I get your dog. Stupid, because I'm not losing my dog. It's my familiar spirit. She's right here. And he said, if you win, you can have my soul. Now, I won, and I took his soul. This was in June of 2019, okay? I've held that soul. And I've waited for Ace to make the move. And there's something still holding him back. He hasn't made the move yet. And I'm sitting here, and now he attacks me at my own show with chairs. I mean, 3 chair shots to the face and a kick to the dome. Not only does Billy Dixon beat me, which granted, he still may have, but now I've got to deal with the pesky little twunk in the ring. So I said, you want it back? Come beat me for it. I'm going to put his soul on a pole above the ring, exactly what it sounds like the Viagra on a pole match, like Judy Bagwell on a forklift match, but it's on a pole. And if he can get up there and get the soul first, he can win. But if I get the soul, I'm keeping the soul. And that shit is not going to go well for Ace Perry if I win.
He wins your dog if he wins.
Well, he had that chance already. He could have won my dog.
I was going to say, that guy doesn't have a soul already if he wanted to.
Yeah, he has to win his soul back. Cranberry, tell him you weren't going anywhere.
Hello.
I wasn't going anywhere.
He is. Oh my God.
I know. You want a treat? You want a treat?
Oh.
She's an angel. You didn't win the dog.
Beautiful.
Not normally, this is where I'd show you my cat, but she's downstairs at the minute because she's ridiculously horny. So she's downstairs. She's getting fixed tomorrow. Bless her.
Oh, the heat, the cat heat.
The weird thing, Effy, is I'm fairly certain she fancies Callum. I mean, she won't leave him alone.
Yeah, when she's feeling it, she's all over me. When she's not, she's Jamie's best friend. But when she's horny, she wants me.
Oh no, you're a hottie for the kitty.
Story of my life, Effy. Story of my life.
Oh.
But I spoke to Ace Perry a few weeks ago, and surprisingly, he spoke very highly of you. So I feel like maybe he was lying to me.
Well, he should speak highly of me. I mean, there's a reason that I successfully held his soul for long enough, but I get it. I got busy. I mean, I have a clothing line, I have events, I have bookings, I have things. I can't maintain every, twink soul that comes into my life at all times. And so if he wants it back, take it back, but you've got to beat me. It's not something I want to give up lightly. I'm nervous about, well, no, I'm not. I don't want to say this. I'll say it this way. Typically, upon possession of a soul, when the soul leaves the body, again, there can sometimes be physical repercussions to the person holding the soul. And I don't want to find out. And I don't I don't need to find out. I'm not gonna find out. I'm not losing my soul. I didn't have a soul. Wait, I'm not. Oh God.
What could happen to you? Hypothetically, what could happen to Effy?
Hypothetically, I've heard about. I've heard that you can disappear.
Disappear.
Yeah.
Right.
Worst case. Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully the demonic power can keep me up, but I don't know. I've got another match after that. I have to fight in a death match after that hasn't been announced yet. So
you might not even be able to attend it if you don't exist.
I might be dead. Oh.
Well,
I mean, we don't want that to happen.
No.
Before we start to wrap up as well, I want to finish on a lighter note because we spoke to Warhorse a few weeks ago, and he showed us a free swear pass from Danhausen. Now, why don't you have one?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jamie. Good journalism.
Well, all right, let me put it to you this way. You see that shirt you're wearing, Gatanic Panic.
I do.
I realize that I am typically known as the gay part of Gatanic Panic. You know, he is the satanic part. He's the Danhausen. He's kind of a devil. Let's be clear. He's the panic part. I'm gay and satanic. I am such a dark spiritual energy that if he gave me a curse pass, it would unleash. This is me on censor mode, and I can't stop cursing. If he gave me a swear pass, it could unleash the central core of our universe, which we now know, thanks to Godzilla versus Kong, is full of mystical creatures and magic swords. But I don't want that implosion on me. So we're gonna keep. Maybe I should get a swear card.
The Danhausen is doing us a favor, and he's being very nice by not giving you a swear pass. That makes a lot more sense.
He's saving the world from devastation.
And I think people as well should go to Pro Wrestling Tees and buy this t-shirt. It's fucking
a great
awesome.
shirt. Yeah, hell yeah. Please do. And
Well,
listen, get the stream on Fight TV. It's $13.99. I promise you adventure. Look, I know, I wish we could give you every show that we've ever made for free. I wish, but we're really trying to put on the best show possible. And you can stream it from your home. And you guys are lucky in the UK because, what is it, 6 hours forward? Or is it 5 hours forward?
5.
Yeah.
So you got a nice 5 p.m., a little evening wrestling.
Right.
You know, don't you guys like Yorkshire puddings?
We love Yorkshire puddings.
Well,
I love Yorkshire pudding too.
We are in Yorkshire, so it's our, yeah.
It's perfect. Yorkshire puddings, gay wrestling, gonna be crazy.
Dude, we're watching it. We've got another friend of ours coming around. We're gonna be watching it.
Yeah, load the house. Let as many people watch it. Get one stream and invite everyone over and tell them they have to bring champagne or something.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I mean, you've done my job for me because I was going to say promote Big Gay Brunch, but you did it for me.
I'll put
of course.
In the description below, all the merch links, all the Fight TV links. I'll put the card as well for a Big Gay Brunch. It's going to be amazing. We can't wait, man. It's I know there's a lot going on that weekend, a lot of great shows, a lot of great talent down there, but this is the one, like last time at the Collective, where I'm the most keen.
No, I'm here.
Okay, sorry, I was.
Oh,
there's a freeze frame.
That was confusing.
Good.
Right. I don't know what I just missed. I think I was talking for ages.
You said you're going to put it all on the bottom of the screen with the card.
That was ages ago. I've been talking for ages.
Yeah, I didn't. It froze up on me. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for talking with me.
Man, it's a pleasure, and I apologize for missing the last time. I was so ill, and I'm
glad you're good now. We made it before the big event.
I was so disappointed because I will go on record and say this now, man. I fucking love you. I think you're amazing. So. It's a pleasure to finally get.
I told you Jamie loved you last time.
I love it. I know, but I had to hear it from him.
Yes, I am an Effy mark, and I always will be. And I hope to God you will please come back on at some point.
Absolutely. After me. Listen, we've got more to talk about after the event. You know, there's going to be questions.
Hell yes, man. Well, we'll reach out, but for now, we wish you all the best for Mania weekend. Big Gay Brunch. Effy, thank you so much.
Thank you.